I would say 10% maximum genuinely get how serious the problem is and are keen to make the painful, big, substantive changes that are necessary. On the other hand, we probably still have 10% was, and mainly the fossil fuel industry, as Tove mentioned, who are actively funding climate denialism up to today, trying to confuse the national public debates, running very, very expensive advertisements in the United States promoting clean coal, for example, which just doesn't exist, and so on and so forth. But in the middle is the majority of where business is, where I think they are making baby steps in the right direction. They are, I'm not simply dismissing it all as greenwashing. I think that to the best of the ability, and some obviously are engaged explicitly in greenwashing, that's no question, and there's a good chunk of them. But others are actually making baby steps in a positive direction. But bottom line is, we are running out of time. That is what we have to come to terms with, because the science has been telling us emissions must peak by 2015 and shortly thereafter and start coming down. And where we are, when you have an ESCOM that is saying that we are going to build 2 coal-powered plants, which, if and when built, would be amongst the 5 biggest coal power plants built ever in the history of the world, then you can see there's a little bit of a disconnect between what words are said and what actions are actually taken. So in that sense, I think that the business community has to actually step up to the plate with much, much bigger levels of ambition. Now, many in the business community over the last decade have been saying what one could call plausible deniability of responsibility. Okay, sorry, that's a bit of mixed metaphors there, but basically what they've been saying when we meet and engage with them is they say, well, no, we'd really like to do more, but there's an absence of national regulatory clarity, meaning that there isn't a price on carbon and so on, and therefore, we would do more, we would move decisively, but the government and the regulatory environment should give us a clear signal. There is, admittedly, a measure of truth in that. But when you look deeper, partly why there isn't regulatory clarity is because there are, particularly the polluting industries, who are fighting tooth and nail to keep the status quo as long as possible, to eke out the last drops of oil from the most remote and dangerous places and ways of doing it, and actually are preventing the regulatory clarity that could actually emerge. I mean, you look at the fight in Australia at the moment, where the coal industry is doing everything in its power to bring down this government that had the guts to go for a price on carbon, right? So I think there are voices in that meeting, no question, that are concerned, that would actually want to move things forward. But I think there is a sort of denial, internally in people's ways, the way they think about it, and a self-denial about whether in fact they are stepping up to the plate. I think the bottom line is most businesses are talking green but walking dirty.